Previously on Dragon Ball Z, Goku found himself fallen from Snake Way into the home for infinite losers, where he had to battle two ogres for his freedom.
Gentlemen, we can rebuild him. We have the technology. Better, stronger, faster.
So this is just an update to let you guys know what's been going on with the Beast. I spent $1,800 purchasing the Mitsubishi TD04 Turbo, or I'm sorry, TD03 Turbo, and we installed it on the car. The car ran pretty cool. As far as a feel in the difference between the stock turbo and the TD03 Turbo, there wasn't really much of a difference. I was kind of hoping for more, but there wasn't really much of a difference. The turbo never went beyond, I didn't push the turbo beyond 24 PSI because it's still brand new, so I just wanted it to last as long as I could. The turbo was on the car for a total of 7 days. On the 8th day, the turbo blew up. I took it to the dealership on the 7th day to get an oil change because it was due for an oil change. And the following morning, I drove the car roughly about 58 miles, something like that. I was parked, the car was idling, and all of a sudden I just started seeing smoke pouring out the back of the exhaust. And I was like, you're kidding me. And so I started driving the car back to the house. I get back to the house, and the car is smoking, just terrible, terrible, terrible smoke. And finally I park it, and I let the car set. And I thought, well, you know, maybe there was something wrong with the tune. Maybe it was something out of adjustment. Who knows? So I went back outside, jumped back in the car, started it up, took it for a drive around the neighborhood. Got about 3 blocks away, and it started smoking again. Really, really bad. So I was like, okay, yeah, for sure there's something wrong. So I parked the car again for the night. Next morning, I went outside, took the charge pipe off of the turbo that goes from the turbo to the intercooler. And you'll see. Oil rich, oil in there. That's oil from inside this tube. I'll even wipe my finger clean. Clean finger. Inlet. Oil. Blown fucking seal. And this is after an oil change at the dealership. Oil level all the way to the top. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So my review of the turbo, $1,800. That's quite a bit of money, especially when you could buy the W1 from 271 for less. And from what I was researching, it appears that the 271 Turbo uses the stock housings. Now I could be wrong, but this is what I found and what I understood. It's using the stock housings from the stock Turbo, but it's using the center cartridge for the Type R Turbo. So you're getting a TD04 cartridge in the housing of the stock TD25 Turbo. The problem with that is that housing can't flow enough air. And what ends up happening is that thing will end up getting superheated and it'll eventually crack, which has happened to some people that I know. The housing cracks on the turbine side near the compressor wheel or by the wastegate. In one of those two areas, it'll crack. It's just too much air, too much temperature, and those housings can't handle it. So PRL, they have their big turbo kit. The downside to that is the cost. Now, if you go on the PRL website, you'll see a price that says something like around $1,700. Cool, but that's not including the turbo. You'll have to go and buy the turbo. The turbo's an extra, let's just say $1,300 for the Gen 2 turbo, because I'm pretty sure everybody's gonna spend money and be like, I'm gonna go with the biggest and what they got. And so Gen 2 turbo is like $1,300. And that makes it pretty much what, like $3,000 for a turbo kit. And you can't really get anywhere past 400 horsepower unless you go water methanol kit, or if you have some kind of standalone, and it will allow you to run additional fuel injectors, like on E-Man's car. He has the Motec system, so that allows him to run port injected fuel injectors. And his car now is running, you know, somewhere in the range of 500 horsepower. But, you know, his car is not your typical Civic. His Civic is something of a masterpiece. Just plain and simple, it's a masterpiece. So, unless you're gonna invest the money like he's got invested into it, which not a lot of people are gonna do, you won't see that 500 horsepower. At the best, 370s, maybe. But yeah, as far as that Mitsubishi TD03 turbo, $1,800, not worth it. Just not worth the money. I'm gonna wait for 271 to drop their W2 turbo, and when that comes out, I'll get that, put that in the car, see how it goes, see how things run after that. So, unfortunately, back to square one.
Meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom.
All right, dames and dolls, here we are. Mitsubishi Turbo, the $1,800 turbo, right? Wiggly, wiggly, wiggly. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Yeah, so you know, if your turbo does this, this is no good. This is no bueno. This is blown. This is royally screwed up. Done. Bye-bye. No more. Bye-bye.